the chairman of the National Endowment for the Arts, Rocco Landsman. Rocco was with us last year when he first took over as chairman of the NEA, and we also heard him this morning at our breakfast session for the arts. He has been a champion of mayors and has been a strong proponent of our Mayor's Institute on City Design. He is also partnering with the Conference of Mayors and the American Architectural Foundation on our National Mayors Summit on Urban Design being held in Chicago this coming April, as we announced yesterday with Mayor Daley. He is here with us today to announce a new grant program to assist us in helping to make our cities connect economic development and sustainability programs with the arts. Please join me in welcoming NEA Chairman Rocco Landsman. Rocco. Thank you for everything. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mayor Couch. You're doing a great job. You really are. I was very moved earlier this morning by the introduction I got from Mitch Landrieu, the mayor of New Orleans. New Orleans was my very first trip that I took as chairman of the NEA. And in many ways, it set the stage for my time at the agency. And let me just give you one example. Mayor Landrieu back then was just lieutenant governor. And he insisted on showing me the Lusher School. And I've been informed by my staff, please don't go on for 15 minutes about the Lusher School. So I'll try to condense it somewhat. But I have to confess that this had no interest for me. My wife could hardly get me to visit my own kids' schools, and I just couldn't imagine other people's children's schools having any interest in them whatsoever. But I got myself up at 7 in the morning, and I went. And I was blown away. This is a school that doesn't even consider itself an art school. They just consider themselves a solid charter school. Yet every day begins with an assembly on the playground where the principal comes down, and the music teacher with an electric guitar, and lead the kids who are all out there. It's New Orleans, so everybody's outside in a courtyard, and lead them in singing Fats Domino songs. And of course, the kids are dancing and hugging, and they go into the school day in a completely different frame of mind than I've ever seen in any other school. And the arts infuse the classrooms there, and infuse the students' days, and these kids do extraordinarily well. The Lusher School gets that you have to educate the whole child and not only do rote math and reading drills. Or to put it another way, half a mind is a terrible thing to waste. We're extremely fortunate to have Mayor Landrieu leading our Arts Caucus for the mayors. And he, of course, has been one of the NEA's most valued partners as a compatriot. And one of the people I would like to pay tribute to right now, of course, is Mayor Tom Cochran, who has been an icon for so long. I guess we should put a moratorium on Tom Cochran jokes. It's not politically correct. We're going to be accused of being ageist or worse. But Tom has been incredible in his leadership of the U.S. Conference of Mayors over the years, and has made sure that the arts are an integral part of what the mayors are dealing with. Thank you, Tom. He really is amazing. We are very indebted to you at the NEA, Tom. I was here with you mayors 1 year ago, and I said then something that I've become more and more convinced about over the past 12 months. Our country's mayors are the most important and natural allies that the arts have. Look at the mayors we honored this morning, Mayor Brainerd and Mayor Nutter. Certainly Mayor Daley, who you honored yesterday, or Mayor Riley, who is our patron saint at the NEA, or my hometown mayor, Francis Slay, from the great city of St. Louis. It seems everywhere I've gone this past year, Sacramento, California, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Boise, Idaho, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, I've met mayors who get that artists are fundamentally placemakers. What do I mean by that? Well, I was recently in California, and the nonprofit arts organizations there have annual revenues roughly equal to that state's convenience stores. But the arts do something that 7-Elevens don't. The arts don't make Slurpees, they make places. And investments in creative placemaking using the arts and other creative assets to shape a place's physical, social, and economic character. That is our topic at the NEA. Towns literally change when you bring artists to the center of them. In a world that increasingly allows us to work from anywhere, why does a person choose to live somewhere? The answer is in those things in life that have to be consumed in person, in place, and in real time. In survey after survey, people report that they choose a hometown based on access to good education and culture. People no longer migrate to where businesses are. Today, businesses move to where people are, where there's a committed, educated workforce. It's the field of dreams in reverse. If you come, they will build it. And I'm not just speaking anecdotally. Mayor Nutter knows this because Philadelphia is the birthplace of the research that has become our playbook at the NEA. Jeremy Nowak and Mark Stern from the Reinvestment Fund and the University of Pennsylvania, respectively, have made the compelling case that any plan to address economic growth and community revitalization has to include the arts. Their work, with more than 10 years of data behind it, has three main findings. One, the arts are a force for social cohesion and civic engagement. In communities with a strong cultural presence, people are much more likely to engage in civic activities beyond the arts. They're much more likely to vote, to join other organizations. Community participation increases measurably, and the result is more stable neighborhoods. Two, the arts make a major difference in child welfare. Income groups with high cultural participation were more than twice as likely to have low truancy and delinquency rates. And three, art is a poverty fighter. Artists form clusters. Cultural institutions spring up near them. Arts lovers gravitate to them. Businesses follow. Businesses hire. The virtuous cycle continues. They do that directly by employing arts workers, and they have a multiplier effect. I think of the dry cleaner next to the Metropolitan Opera, or the parking lot attendant next to the Peoria Symphony, or the bar owner next to a theater, well, every theater everywhere probably. If you take these University of Pennsylvania findings and add to them the work of economists like Ann Markison, and I should add here that we just commissioned Ann to do a white paper for us on creative placemaking that is not only solidly researched, it is also a pretty good read. Ann's paper can be downloaded at arts.gov. And Ann enumerates in even more ways how the arts can contribute toward vital, sustainable communities. The arts contribute to livability, to quality of life. We all like being near the stuff. Think of City Garden in St. Louis. The arts nurture and aggregate creativity and innovation. Creative, innovative people like being near one another. Think about the tech startups that have joined arts organizations in the Berkshires. It's a perfect example. The arts help create brand identity for places. Think of those Philadelphia murals. And the arts drive local economies. By investing in the indigenous, naturally occurring arts organization, residents and visitors spend more time and money in their own neighborhoods. Look at what Mayor Rawlings Blake is doing with the Station North District in Baltimore, another great example. All of this is great. The arts can increase civic engagement, social cohesion, and child welfare. They fight poverty. They contribute to quality of life, foment creativity and innovation, create neighborhood identity, and revitalize local economies. And intrinsically, the arts are fun, magical, and transporting. That's an awful lot of bang for the buck. So my job as a public funder of the arts is to help the field recognize that beyond our intrinsic jobs, making and presenting art, we also have a role as citizens. And this increasingly is our theme at the NEA. We really are interested at that point at which the arts intersect with the real world, with communities, with neighborhoods. And with that role come responsibilities. It's also, but it's also a role, I think, in which the arts are much more likely to engender public attention and investment. Our first foray into this at the NEA came through our partnership with all of you in the form of the Mayor's Institute of City Design. As you know, thanks to the extraordinary vision of Mayor Riley, the NEA partners with the U.S. Conference of Mayors and the American Architectural Foundation to help mayors make the time and give them the resources they need in order to conceive of themselves as their city's chief urban designers. This program has been wildly successful, and I trust you'll all join us in Chicago with the great Mayor Daley for our National Mayors Summit on City Design on April 27th, which will be the 50th national session we've organized and the 25th anniversary of MICD's founding. And last January, when I was standing in front of all of you, I announced the NEA would bring something new to the table, and we launched a new funding stream called MICD 25, the 25th anniversary. We've invested in 21 cities and towns that were reusing abandoned or underutilized spaces, commissioning public art, planning cultural districts, or designing new infrastructure. In each case, the arts were front and center in a partnership that involved city government, arts organizations, and the private sector. If you visit our website, arts.gov, you can all see the 21 projects and look at them. But let me just focus on 3 illustrative projects. First, the mayor of Memphis, Tennessee, has been focusing on fully integrating the arts into his overall philosophy and plans for the city. Memphis is using its NEA grant to conduct the pre-development of an artist live-work space in the city's South Main Arts District. The city hopes to accelerate the ongoing revitalization efforts, largely driven by artists already, in the neighborhood and surrounding communities. It is contracting art space projects to lead a study surveying the musicians, artists, and arts organizations in the city to better understand the needs in the community, including how much performance, rehearsal, and storage space is needed. Following this pre-development work, an architectural team will be selected, and financial models and conceptual building plans will be created. The project will serve an estimated 7,500 members of the creative community. The second project, Action Greensboro, is a not-for-profit organization in North Carolina that coordinates citizen initiatives to enhance the economy for this city of about 250,000 people. In 2009, Action Greensboro teamed with the city of Greensboro on a multi-use trail that winds through residential neighborhoods and business districts, one that literally encircles and defines its downtown. With its MICD grant, Action Greensboro is funding public art installations as part of the renovation of an abandoned railroad underpass that links an economically disadvantaged part of the city to its center. The art will include the design and fabrication of 12 decorative iron gates along the underpass, through which will be seen 2 huge graphic panels depicting parts of Greensboro's history. Artists will create light installations to illuminate the entire area. Number 3, Madison, Wisconsin is developing a major park in the center of the city that will include a performance space, a skate park, a bike path, an accessible playground, and community garden spaces. With our money, environmental artist Lorna Jordan is working with the park's design team to integrate a work of public art into the construction of Central Park. In addition to aesthetic contributions, Jordan is also working on the park's green infrastructure. The park is one of the lowest elevation points in the city, as well as sitting on top of a capped brownfield. Jordan will help solve the rainwater runoff and drainage issues. All of these projects show communities at their best, collaborating toward a common good, with art and creativity at their center. In fact, these projects were so successful that last Thursday, we released the guidelines for an expanded pool of funding that will allow us to invest in up to 35 communities and will be open to all of the communities in this country, even those that have not yet had a mayor to go through one of the MICD institutes. This $5 million in funding is called Our Town. It's called Our Town because I'm a theater person and it's a name of a play, and one of my prerogatives as NEA chair is I get to name things. But it's also called Our Town because it highlights the place-based nature of the arts. We are in the midst of a massive outreach campaign to make sure that every community is aware of this opportunity. We have a schedule of webinars on our website, arts.gov, and Jason Schupak, our design director at the NEA, will be leading a breakout session this afternoon at 4 o'clock, where he will go through the nuts and bolts of creating a successful application. I'm very excited about the applications that we will receive and cannot wait to announce the winners. We will make the announcement following the June meeting of our National Council on the Arts. But beyond direct funding, beyond investment, there's another role for the NEA, a catalytic role. I'm a recovering Broadway producer, and I always say that the theater is by far the most collaborative of all the art forms. That same spirit of collaboration is the hallmark of this administration. And because of that, the NEA is having high-level conversations across many of the federal agencies. Mitch alluded to those earlier today. Responding collectively and collaboratively to citizens' needs can bring real dynamic change. Our intentions are ambitious, but the plan is simple. We will find ways that federal agencies, alongside the private sector, can use the arts as a fulcrum for revitalization. This past summer, the Department of Housing and Urban Development announced a $100 million program funding for regional planning efforts. HUD worked closely with the Department of Transportation and the Environmental Protection Agency on this initiative. And together, these agencies did something that has never been done before. They invited the NEA to participate as their partner, a first in NEA history. They wrote the arts explicitly into the notice of funding availability. Sean Donovan and I issued a joint press release to make communities aware of this priority, and HUD hosted a webinar specifically for the arts community to encourage them to apply. NEA staff was included in the evaluation process, and I'm proud to say that the arts are the centerpiece of many of these grants, from Santa Monica, California, to Greenfield, Massachusetts, from Radford, Virginia, to Rockford, Illinois. Regions are taking stock of their creative assets, creating teams and strategies to ensure artistic and cultural diversity, and making the arts and culture a core component of reconnecting housing stock with other regional amenities. In fact, in a few weeks, I will be down in Hollywood, Florida, with HUD Deputy Secretary Ron Sims to meet with the South Florida Regional Planning Council to observe their HUD grant in action. I've also been engaged in an ongoing conversation with Arnie Duncan at the Department of Education about arts education. Arnie understands the importance of arts education, and he's doing something about it. The DOE's new Promise Neighborhoods program, another $100 million, included the arts as an invitational priority, another first for us. Ray LaHood, my good friend at the Department of Transportation, was here with me last year. In fact, we gave back-to-back speeches. He likes to say that I opened for him. And we have been working with DOT in the same way we have worked with HUD. I've met with Tom Vilsack at the Department of Agriculture, who suggested that their community facilities program, they do an awful lot of construction in small towns and rural areas, would be an ideal place for an engagement with the NEA, design, artist access, and workspaces. Kathleen Sebelius at the Department of Health and Human Services is determined to do something with the arts. We're in the process of planning a conference that will look at the role of the arts in childhood development and with geriatric populations. We are also engaging the important role of the arts in mental health. On May 3, 2011, this year, National Children's Mental Health Day, we are coming together to kick off and celebrate the Year of the Arts at HHS. In fact, at a dinner recently, not long ago, Kathleen interrupted me as I was going on and on, as I am now, but all we're doing with the arts and the agencies. And she said, wait a minute, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to bed the arts in every federal agency. And I said, bingo. The cuckoo bird lays its eggs in other birds' nests. And I like to think of the arts as eggs that I'm leaving in nests all over town that hopefully the cabinet secretaries will start caring for as their own. In short, art works. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Let me now introduce Rick M. Deadweiler, manager of DuPont Government Affairs. For the last 10 years, DuPont has had a platinum partnership with the Conference of Mayors called Cities United for Science Progress, or CUSP. The two key aspects to our partnership with DuPont are the Lead Safe for Kids' Sake grant program that has committed close to $5 million with the goal of making our cities lead safe and healthier places to live. The other DuPont USCM initiative, Science in the School Day, is a great program. I have taken part, and it brings young engineers into schools with the mayor to educate elementary school children on the importance of science and engineering. Let me tell you, what this program does, it inspires our children to science, technology, engineering, and math, because this program makes it fun for them to see things in a different way. And if you haven't done it, mayors, you need to do this program because it inspires you as you're working with our children in the schools. So Rick, can you please give us an update on CUSP and what we will be focusing on this year as we celebrate our decade of partnership? Rick.
Thank you, Mayor Couch. Yes. Good morning, and thank you, Mayor Couch. It's my pleasure to be here today to update the mayors on DuPont's Platinum Partnership with the U.S. Conference of Mayors, Cities United for Science Progress. We're here today to celebrate a decade of partnership with the USCM. Over the past 10 years, we've worked with you, the mayors, and to bring science education and resources to assist mayors in making their cities safer, smarter, and healthier. I'm happy to report our partnership continues to grow in new directions. I know many of you are familiar with our Science in the School Day program. Actually, just not too long ago, had a healthy conversation with Wilmington's Mayor, Jim Baker, a friend, clearly mayor of the DuPont Company's corporate headquarters community. And he's very familiar with the program. And the program is where we introduce elementary school children to science and engineering in a fun way with some of DuPont's youngest, brightest, and most promising engineers. Science in the School Day recognizes the value of helping mayors inspire tomorrow's engineers to build better cities. And in the last decade, mayors in DuPont have brought science to over 30,000 students in some 400 schools in over 150 cities across our country. Here is the genius of DuPont becomes kid-friendly through our experiments, contests, and activities. The request for the Science in the School Day continues to grow. As Mayor Couch just mentioned, we encourage and we welcome that interest, and we look forward to hearing from you so that we can set up a program in your city in the near future. As we begin this new decade of partnership, our focus will continue to bring innovation to mayors to assist you in making your cities better places to live, work, and play. At the USCM meeting in Oklahoma City, DuPont mentioned 2 examples of this innovation. First, our latest technologies bring first responder protection innovation to new levels. DuPont is committed to protecting the people who protect us, law enforcement, firefighters, and first responders, with innovative products that enable them to perform their jobs as safely as possible and return home to their families each evening. Our products protect the lives of those who so bravely protect our lives and the lives at risk of others. One product is Kevlar XP. You'll see some brochures in front of you. Please take a chance to take a look at it. This patented bullet-resistant structure provides superior bullet-stopping power while considerably reducing the trauma of bullet impact. The other was Nomex On Demand, a smart fiber. That's right, a smart fiber. That reacts to thermal liner temperatures of 250 degrees and expands to protect increased thermal protection for the firefighter in their turnout gear. So this is really and truly an innovative and amazing technology, both the Kevlar and the Nomex On Demand technologies. We told you last June that we realized that even when budgets become tight, the work of the city's first responders does not go away. We know this. And after meeting with you and speaking with you, many of who have reached out to us and expressed your concerns, I'd like to share something new with you, a new grant program that we're going to roll out today. DuPont Protection Technologies Grant Program that will help some of your public safety officers benefit from these new technologies that I just shared with you. To celebrate a decade of partnership with you, under this new program, DuPont will grant over $100,000 worth of first responder personal protection gear to USCM member cities. DuPont will work with our product manufacturers to provide body armor or turnout gear using these latest technologies to 10 to 20 officers in cities free of charge. We only ask that the officers provide some level of, with their sense of wearability, comfort, and weight, so that we can continue to grow and develop the products to make them even safer and operate better for our first responders. We'd also like to thank our fellow UCM Business Council member, Lion, who is a leading manufacturer of first responder personal protection products. Lion has agreed to work with us on this donation program so that law enforcement, firefighters, and emergency responders can begin experiencing the benefits of this cutting-edge and new technology. So with that, I would like to announce that we are granting, and I saw the mayor just came in, Philadelphia Mayor Michael Nutter and Baltimore Mayor Stephanie Rawlings, each with 18 sets of new innovative fire protection turnout gear. These grants are valued at close to $50,000 and will go a long way towards making our firefighters safer and better able to perform their hazardous jobs in those cities specifically. So congratulations. And as we prepare for the annual meeting in Baltimore, we will continue to talk to more mayors about these grants, and we plan to make more of these grants. So we look forward to hearing from you. We look forward to hearing your input and feedback and your needs as we'll be working to bring these new technologies to your cities. Second, when it comes to innovation, perhaps no new product that DuPont has introduced for cities is more innovative than the Reliatron. SIDT, or Solid Insulation Distribution Transformer. Yes, I know that's a mouthful, and I'm not a scientist, so I tried to deliver that the best I could. But you might be asking yourself, why are we talking about transformers? Well, the answer is simple. Transformers are everywhere. They're big, they're green, and they're ugly. These green boxes that dot most every neighborhood throughout our country. And guess what? They contain about 30 to 50 gallons of mineral oil, which is flammable and considered to be hazardous by the EPA. So DuPont's Reliatron is the first innovation in transformer technology for utility distribution systems in over 100 years. And we look forward to bringing this to you all soon as well. So now that science has finally provided a solution so that transformers may once again go back underground, this new product does not contain oil. It's designed to be occasionally submerged, therefore making it especially attractive in coastal areas where flooding and hurricanes may be concerning. Not to mention, it is extremely protective of our environment. This makes for much more aesthetically pleasing neighborhoods with no more above-ground green boxes, and increases the safety in our neighborhoods as well for your children and some grandchildren and just the kids as they play. So lastly, as the mayor mentioned early on in her speech, together we have done such great work on the issue of reducing elevated blood levels in children. Since the inception of our program over 10 years ago, DuPont has put close to $5 million into your neighborhoods through the USCM's DuPont Lead Safe for Kids' Sake program. As a result, coupled with the efforts by the federal government and your own staff members, the reduction of elevated blood levels across the country has been one of the biggest public health success stories in the past 50 years. Blood levels throughout the country are now lower than they've been in our country's recent history. So today, I'm pleased to announce that the 10th annual Lead Safe for Kids' Sake grant program is now officially open. If you'll take a look at some of the brochures that sit in front of you, the application materials are part of that. In fact, on the black brochure, the application is on the last page there. So please consider, utilizing that. The applications will be due in May of 2011. So we'll look forward to hearing from you. And as a result, DuPont will again be pleased to award $375,000 at the annual meeting in Baltimore here this June to USCM mayors who proposed innovative lead safety programs. So we look forward to hearing from you. So, Madam President, thank you very much for allowing me the time to update the mayors on our many programs and grant programs to support our students, our firefighters, first responders, and I look forward to working and hearing from each and one of you throughout the upcoming year. So enjoy the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick. Mayors, for over a year, you've been reading on U.S. mayors, the work that we've been doing with an organization in Europe called the Covenant of Mayors, who modeled their organization after USCM's climate protection group. So today, I'm pleased to introduce to you and to welcome President Mercedes Bresso, President of the Committee of the Region of the European Union. The Committee of the Region is the European Union's assembly of mayors and regional officials. In her education, Dr. Bresso is specialized in economics and commerce, with a special focus on environmental economics. Since 1985, she has held key leadership posts in Italy, local and regional government, and served 4 years in the European Parliament. Before becoming president of the Committee of the Region 2010, she was president of the Piedmont Regional Council in Italy, a post equivalent to being a governor in our country. Last October, I had the honor of addressing the Committee of the Region in Brussels, and to discuss and to further strengthen our relationship, the mayors of America and the mayors of the European Union, on climate protection strategies, and our U.S. Mayor Climate Protection Agreement that we forged between our two organizations. Given our shared understanding of the importance of climate protection, the Committee of the Region and the Conference of Mayors have signed an agreement of understanding to further explore cooperation in the ways that we can continue to work together on this very important issue of climate protection. President Bresso, thank you for coming across the Atlantic to be with us today, to share with us your ideas. Thank you.
Dear President Kaus, dear Elizabeth, thank you for your invitation, also for your beautiful presentation of my activity. Mayors of the United States, distinguished guests, on behalf of the European Union, is an immense honor to address this great 79th winter meeting of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. As President of the Committee of the Regions, I warmly thank President Kaus for this invitation. The energy and the inspiration of both Mayor Kaus and Tom Cochran, who was here before, has been central to us. We explore how we can best develop cooperation between American and European mayors on climate action. Today, I want to acknowledge also the overall support of the Conference of Mayors, the officers, trustees, advisory board members, and all mayors. Thank you to you. Honorable mayors and guests, as we just heard this morning to the breakfast meeting, President Kennedy's great inaugural call for actions continues to this day and will always inspire our choice and our actions. American mayors continue to follow his words as not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And over 1,044 mayors have signed the U.S. Mayor Climate Protection Agreement. As fellow citizens in this world, we in Europe have asked what we, on our side of the pond, can do together. And 2,000 mayors and 100 presidents of our regional government signed the Covenant of Mayors of the European Union. Each of our mayors has committed to reduce its city CO2 emissions by 20% by 2020 as a result of a 20% increase, as you know, in energy efficiency and a 20% share of renewable resources. As you can see, 20 is our lucky number in Europe. All is 20. All the good we do is 20. Indeed, across the Atlantic, we share similar challenges and goals. Create jobs, as your Metro Agenda emphasizes, boost our green economy, fight climate change, improve the quality of life in our cities, and engage our citizens. We know how these challenges are and how critical it is for us to meet these targets. We can do this working together, the US Conference of Mayors and the EU Committee of the Regions. This spirit is the cornerstone of our Memorandum of Understanding on Climate Action, which President Klaus and I signed last October in Brussels, and you have, Elizabeth, remember now. In that same spirit, I am standing here in Washington with you today. I am here to introduce you the Committee of the Regions. Is the only institution of the European Union which brings together all local and regional government. A political bipartisan assembly like yours, where each city and region is represented by its elected official. A kaleidoscope of diversity which brings together Stockholm and Madrid, for example, the 12 million people of the German region of Bayern, and the Greek little but beautiful Mediterranean islands. It's very, as you know, Europe is very different, 22 languages, a very different organization of local power, but we work together in a real fantastic friendship. A place for political advocacies also, but also for sharing our best practices and expertise. Indeed, I am here to learn from you more about your political metro agenda, as well as about your efforts in your cities to ameliorate the effect of climate change and to boost your local economies. We have a great deal to learn from each other. We gain new ideas from our meetings and take them back home for the benefits of our citizens. Together, we can move faster and forward our green agenda, engaging our fellow citizens, advocating that local leaders be fully empowered in the fight for climate protection, forging stronger partnership across the Atlantic between local government leaders, the private sector, which is very important in a difficult economic moment for our budget, citizens on both sides of the Atlantic. The European mayors have a great deal to learn from your experience, from the green, for example, Los Angeles Action Plan, to the Baltimore Neighborhood Energy Challenge pilot program, from the Santa Ana Green Water Conservation Initiative to the Greater Philadelphia, we have the mayor here, Innovation Cluster for Energy Efficiency Building, and important work in Bassville, Carmel, Chicago, Philadelphia, and Meridian, and the list goes on to include, I think, each and every mayor here. European mayors are also keen to welcome you to their cities and towns. We have cities, big cities, and also little but always beautiful towns, and to share their best practices with you. In this regard, we would like to explore additional ways of cooperation between US and European cities to encourage sharing of best practices and analysis of what works and what does not. Our committee is interested in exploring the various possibilities of cooperation with your conference, including a possible scheme for city twinning and pilot visit program. I am glad to say that the Committee of the Regions enjoys concrete support from the United States Ambassador to the European Union, Ambassador William Kennard. We met together him in Brussels, and we represent the United States to the European Union. And I am also pleased to say that we are grateful for the support of Ambassador João Vale de Almeida, who leads the delegation of the European Union to the United States, based here in Washington. I met him yesterday, and he assured his full support to our initiatives. European and US mayors working together also will help our nations further consolidate our standing within the global negotiation on climate change. After the World Forum of the Mayors convened in Mexico City in November, the Cancun Summit marked a step, I think, in the right direction. It was a difficult meeting, but the results were good. To keep momentum for global progress going, we need further progress. Both the United Nations COP70 Climate Change Conference, to be held in South Africa at the end of 2011, and at the Rio 20 Plus Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro in May 2012. I was, in a technical way, I was a member of the Italian delegation at that period in Rio, and I think that 20 years after, I hope we will do a very big effort to improve our engagement not only for climate change, but all green economy. That is why the Committee of the Region will organize a summit of mayors from Europe and other continents, and I invite you very warmly, to take place in April 2012 in Copenhagen. At the meeting, mayors from across the world will debate of the future of our cities, their global position, and how we can improve their quality of life, their beautifulness, their energy efficiency, all the way to keep with the environmental question. Our goal is to attract more than 1,000 mayors to this summit, and as I said, we already invited you, and we hope that the US Conference of Mayors will be able to participate in this summit. Thank you very much for this opportunity to be here with you today. Being good stewards of our city's environment is a duty towards our future generation. Each of you is working at his greatest capacity to take care of our environment. Let's accomplish this together. And thank you for your kind attention, and also I apologize of my, I think, Italian accent in English. Thank you very much. Thank you. And now I introduce a little video on cooperation between the US Conference of Mayors and the Committee of the Region of the European Union. Thank you.
Fighting climate change will only be achieved through global action. Every country has a role to play, and every level of government must shoulder its responsibilities. Local communities are particularly important, as up to 70% of climate actions are implemented in towns and cities. To harmonise and accelerate this process on both sides of the Atlantic, in October last year, the US Conference of Mayors and the EU Committee of the Regions signed a memorandum promoting renewable energy and sustainable urban mobility, as well as urging changes in citizens' behaviour.
The Memorandum of Understanding we are signing today will lead to closer cooperation, make our cities, our region stronger, and give us a more forceful voice as we work together to protect our cities, regions, nation, and planet for generations to come.
Collaboration between the conference and the COR began long before the memorandum was signed. For several years, US representatives have showcased their best practice during the annual Open Days, the EU's largest regional policy event. And the two institutions have both worked closely with the private sector to encourage green growth. One of the most valuable contributions to the memorandum came from young people. Students from the American and European schools in Brussels were invited to discuss the various solutions for tackling global warming. They were joined by Presidents Bresso and Kautz for a symbolic ceremony emphasizing the ultimate goal of all climate action, preserving the Earth for future generations.
We are here because we are serious about our resolve to partner and to ensure that we are good stewards of this planet for you, our children. Thank you very much, President Bresso, for traveling and coming across and working to continue to strengthen the relationship that we share between American mayors and the mayors of Europe. Thank you so much. Before I continue with our program, I want to remind mayors that if you did not know that yesterday we adopted and signed a civility accord, please join us in that signing. And there is, the document is by the registration desk on this floor. Please go see it and sign it and become a part of our effort on civility in our cities. Our discussion of mayors and climate protection effort is a perfect opportunity to remind you that this year's application for the Mayor's Climate Protection Award are due April 8th, 2011. You should see a green postcard reminding you about these awards and the deadline. Thanks to the support of Walmart, our long-standing partner on Mayor's Climate Protection Awards, I am pleased to announce that our top winners will now receive $25,000 for the Large City Award and $15,000 for the Small City Award, funds that will support local charities working on sustainable activities. Please plan to apply by April 8th and let us know about the exciting work that you are doing in your cities. I'm now pleased to turn to our very successful Mayor's National DollarWise campaign. Since DollarWise began 6 years ago, hundreds of mayors and cities have launched programs such as Bank One Initiative, Bank On initiatives, Earned Income Tax Credit assistance, and community financial literacy efforts. I want to thank all those mayors who started such programs since the campaign began. Now we are expanding the campaign even more. New direction include the Financial Planning Day initiative launched as part of the last fall's DollarWise Week. Over 20 cities, including Los Angeles, Houston, Philadelphia, Miami, and my own city of Burnsville, participated in this effort. At these events, mayors' offices, the Certified Financial Planner Board of Standards, and the local chapters of the Financial Planning Association offer one-on-one, no-strings-attached financial counseling to the public, provided by volunteer financial planners. We are working with our sponsor, the Foundation for Financial Planning, on the details of this year's program, which will be announced soon. Now to our 2011 DollarWise Innovation Grants. I would like to ask Bank America's Win Lum to join me on the stage. Win, I know you're here. Okay. Since the campaign's inception, 18 cities have received innovation grants, supported by funding sponsor Bank America. I'm pleased to announce that Bank of America has extended its support of DollarWise through 2012. We sincerely thank them for their support. This year's 10 finalists and their programs are profiled in DollarWise Partnerships, which is on your tables. It is my pleasure to announce that the recipients of the 2011 DollarWise Innovation Grant for $20,000 each are Cincinnati and Hartford. As the mayors come up, let me describe their efforts. Cincinnati Mayor Mark Mallory will incorporate financial education into his Summer Youth Program Expo, which links over 5,000 young adults to over 100 employers in his city. Hartford Mayor Pedro Segarra will pilot a parent-student financial literacy program at Burr Community School. The effort will include one-on-one counseling, individual development accounts, and budget coaching. Mayor Mallory and Mayor Segarra, congratulations. This is yours for Connecticut.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. We are extremely grateful to the U.S. Conference of Mayors, to Bank of America and the DollarWise program for this grant. As you know or may not know, Hartford is one of the top 5 poorest cities. This grant will be utilized in one of the poorest neighborhoods in our city, and the effects of it will have an impact not only on the participants, but coming from a very poor family myself, when we got the financial planning advice from neighbors, I'm sure that advice will trickle down to many others in the community. So I'm thankful again. It's a great program, and we look forward to implementing it. And again, thanks Bank of America. Thanks to the U.S. Conference of Mayors. And while I'm up here, as a Latino, I've learned how to speak very quickly. As a new mayor, I really want to thank you, President Kuntz, because this organization not only has served to inspire me as a new mayor, but the support and the encouragement is just incredible. So thank you all. Thank you.
So stay up here. We'll do this. Mayor Mallory. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is great. Madam President, fellow mayors, guests, first of all, let me say thank you to the U.S. Conference of Mayors for putting together the DollarWise program, and thank you to Bank of America for the great work that you're doing to educate our young people about financial literacy. In Cincinnati, we have an annual job fair that I do in April. It attracts about 5,000 young people. And we also have 4 different employment programs for youth in the summer that employ about 1,000 young people directly. So we're going to be using this grant to connect all those young people with financial literacy so that they have the tools that they need to truly become successful as they grow and work and live in the great city of Cincinnati. So again, thank you to Bank of America for investing in young people in our cities, and thank you to the U.S. Conference of Mayors for strengthening cities around our country. Thank you very much. And anybody that's not using your ticket for tonight, come see me. I need an extra ticket. Thank you.
And then it's now my pleasure to announce the recipients of the DollarWise Summer Youth Campaign grants. Another new initiative of DollarWise, these grants support the incorporation of financial education into summer youth employment programs. It is the campaign's goal to make financial education a key part of every summer youth job in the nation. This year's winners are Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake of Baltimore, Mayor Phil Gordon of Phoenix, Mayor Michael Coleman of Columbus, Mayor Ashley Swearingen, I'm sorry, Ashley, of Fresno, and Mayor Mike McGinn of Seattle. Mayors, after this session, please come to the head table for a group photo. And I congratulate all of the recipients of this year's DollarWise grant. Mayors, I highly encourage you to get involved in DollarWise. I can speak from my own experience. It is well worth the effort. And I think, Mr. Win Lim, did you want to say a few words from Bank of America? You exited too soon.
Thank you, Mayor Kautz. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished mayors. I was going to go out and take a WikiLeaks, but I'll come back here. So thank you very much. On behalf of Bank of America, oh, they're reading the news. They understand what Bank of America and all these rumors are about. But I'd just like to say thank you very much for all of your partnership. Thank you for making financial education a priority in your agendas. As we all know, financial education is the foundation for sustaining economic recovery once we are there. And for all of you for supersizing the program and for your innovations, and to our mayors, all 7 of them, for this year's grant winners, thank you for doing that. If you know, we're around the country, and we're happy to help partner with you in your programs to deliver financial education. We have the resources, we have the associates, we have my teammates, we have leaders. We're ready to help you. Let us know how we can do it, because together we're going to recover. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Win. Thank you. And with that, this plenary session is adjourned. And remember, we have a luncheon. Okay. We'll see you then.